Welcome back to another scary night tale. Tonight's story is not just unsettling, it's a chilling lesson in obedience, routine, and the horrifying consequences of straying from the rules. Imagine a life governed by strict rituals, each one essential to keeping your loved one, and yourself, safe. But what happens when the rules fail? What happens when the person you're protecting turns into something else entirely? But before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below, sharing your thoughts and your chills with us. Let's begin. Mom's been different since the accident. The doctors called her survival a miracle, but they didn't see who came home that night. You've tried everything to help her, even when she started acting differently. The rules weren't yours at first. They came naturally. Small things you noticed that made life safer. Over time, they became essential. Now the rules are all that keep you and her together. Follow them. No matter how hard it gets, no matter what you see or hear, follow them. If you don't, you'll lose her completely, and what's left won't be your mom. Greet her when you enter. She hears you even if she doesn't answer. She will remind you, loudly, if you forget. 2. Don't touch her chair. It belongs to her, and if it moves, she will notice. She will stare until you correct it if it's not in place. 3. Feed her on time. She doesn't eat much, but she knows if you're late. If you miss her meal, you'll hear footsteps in the kitchen at night. 4. Let her hum when she hums. Stay quiet and let her finish. Interrupting her will stop the humming. You don't want her to stop. 5. Never mention Dad. If she asks about him, lie. Say he's fine or away. Never tell her the truth. 6. Give her medication on schedule. Make her swallow it while you watch. If she skips a dose, her voice will change. 7. Answer her questions immediately. If you delay, she'll keep asking. Her voice will start sounding like it's coming from the walls. 8. Lock her bedroom door at night. She'll beg you not to, but you must. If she gets out, she'll wander. What comes back won't be her. 9. Correct her if she calls you the wrong name. Say, "That's not me," and leave the room for 10 minutes. When you return, she might remember you. 10. Don't cry in front of her. If she sees, she'll try to comfort you. Then she'll ask why you're scared of her. Don't answer. 11. Ignore her if she sings at midnight. Don't open the door. It's not her. Cover your ears and wait until the singing stops. 12. Keep loving her. You should strive to hang on just like she is. She could take care of you if you take care of her. I used to believe it was about providing for her, feeding her, and protecting her. After the accident, it became a routine. She doesn't remember it, not really, she can't. But I do. It doesn't bother me. My pledge to take care of her is being fulfilled. I let her finish even if she begins humming in the kitchen at 3 in the morning. Even when she asks about Dad, I lie and say he's fine. She doesn't know he's gone. I can't tell her. I've learned the rules. Greet her when you enter. I say, "Hi," as soon as I enter the room, even if she doesn't answer. It makes no difference if she is looking at the wall or sleeping. She hears me. Don't touch her chair. It's hers. She doesn't remember why, but she knows if it's moved. I've learned to keep my distance from it just in case. Feed her on time. Whether or if she is hungry is irrelevant. It's about the schedule. Her meals are like clockwork. If I'm late, I'll hear her footsteps in the kitchen, tapping like an old clock ticking away, always late at night. It's better to avoid that. Let her hum. It's soft, almost like a lullaby, and I've gotten used to it. When she hums, everything feels normal, at least for a while. It's when she stops humming that things get messy. I've done everything right. every single rule. Until today. It started like any other day. I said hi when I walked in, but she didn't answer. She was sitting in the chair staring out the window, the same spot she always looks. But today something felt wrong. The chair. It was facing the wrong way. I froze for a second. It wasn't just out of place. It was facing the wall. And Mom didn't move it. She never would. I walked over and touched it. She didn't say anything. She just stared, her eyes blank. I thought I fixed it. She wasn't there when I returned from getting her food in the kitchen. Her chair was empty. I searched the house, checked the bathroom, the hallways. Nothing. She was gone. I ran outside, but the yard was empty. It felt wrong. I knew it was wrong. I kept thinking, this isn't part of the rules. That's when I heard it. The hum. This time it wasn't coming from the kitchen. Soft and unsettling, like a lullaby that shouldn't be there. It came from upstairs. I hesitated. I was supposed to follow the rules, right? Always follow the rules. But I was already breaking them. So what was one more? I walked up the stairs and the hum got louder. It originated in her bedroom. The door was slightly ajar, allowing a shadow to pass through. I knocked. No answer. The hum didn't stop. I pushed the door open. There she was. But it wasn't her. Not exactly. Her hair was longer, messier. She was standing by the window looking at something outside, and her face seemed excessively pale. Mom? She turned. Her eyes were different, empty. You're late, she said. I felt the air freeze. Her voice sounded wrong. It wasn't her voice anymore. I stepped back, my heart racing. The room was colder now. Too cold. Mom, I whispered, trying to remember the rules, trying to hold on to something familiar. But then she smiled. It wasn't her smile. It wasn't even close. That's when I realized I couldn't follow the rules anymore. The door banged behind me as I turned to go. It seemed to be coming from everywhere, and I could hear her laughing softly, like if the walls were laughing with her. The door would not budge when I attempted to open it. My hands shook. The humming had stopped. Then, from the corridor, I heard her voice once again. What makes you afraid of me? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Instead, I turned, ran to the window, and looked outside. The yard was full, not with trees or grass, but with people, empty people. They stared at me. I couldn't recognize any of their faces. They just stared. One of them raised a hand and waved. I froze. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. And then, as if they all knew, they began walking toward the house. Not slowly, not casually. They moved as one in perfect synchronization. I knew they were coming for me, but I couldn't do anything about it. I turned back to the room. She was gone. The space by the window was empty. I hurried to the door and attempted to turn the knob once more, but it was locked. Outside, I heard methodical, slow footsteps, as if they were waiting for me to take action. My chest was thumping with my heart. My mind raced. What was I supposed to do now? That's when I heard it. The hum. But this time, it was different. It was coming from the hallway, but it wasn't her. It was many voices. Low, twisted, all humming together. The air in the room felt thick, suffocating. The hum intensified till it seemed as though the walls were trembling. I covered my ears. I couldn't escape it. I looked at the window again. The people outside weren't just staring anymore. They were moving closer, closer to the house. However, despite my best efforts to keep my eyes open, my vision became blurry. The hum reached a crescendo. I fell to my knees. The air tasted like iron. My gut roiled and my brain whirled. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't stop myself. When I looked back at the window, she was there again. However, she wasn't alone this time. They were all standing behind her, those empty faces, twisted, hollow, all staring at me. The door swung open. It wasn't her at the doorway. It wasn't even close. "What made you violate the rules?" Her voice had changed to one that was colder and darker than usual as she inquired. The last thing I heard was the humming, all around me, everywhere, and then there was silence.